Doing? So, which country are you from, Kemal?
I'm from Indonesia.
Indonesia. Okay. It's a pleasure for us that you have joined the conference today. Thank you for joining.
The pleasure all mine as well.
Uh, Good morning, Eddie Raduzwan.
Hi.
Hello, good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining today's conference.
Yeah, but I need to tell you that in half an hour from now, I
Yeah.
need to attend an MOU signing ceremony. It's also done
Okay.
online,
Okay.
so I'll be on and off.
Okay.
And
Okay.
after I finish with the online MOU ceremony, then I'll be joining you again. So even if I'm not here during my session, please just keep me because I'll come back after that. Okay? Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Sure. 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 Thank you so much for updating. We will
Yeah.
keep that in mind. Thank you so much for joining
All
today.
right.
Okay, so we are just waiting for a few participants more, and we will be starting with the conference. Kemal, how is the weather in Indonesia right now?
Uh, it's the weather in Indonesia is the same all year round, so it's pretty
Okay.
hot in here.
Hot.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And Adi Raduzwan, what about you? How is the weather in your country? I think it's Malaysia, right?
Yes, I'm originally from Malaysia, but at the moment I'm seconded in Jordan.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm in Jordan now, yeah, and it's morning and it's winter. It's
Winter.
winter
Okay.
time, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we will be starting with the conference now. So I would like to welcome all of you. Welcome to Eurasia Research Online Live International Conference. It's a really great pleasure that you have joined this conference today. So the event is about to start. Please wait, we will begin shortly. So today we have participations and presentations from 6 countries around the world, from Kuwait, India, Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Ghana. We are broadcasting this conference on Facebook Live on multiple pages of Eurasia Research, and the links for the live session will be given in the chat box. So you can share those links to your friends, colleagues, and everyone that you know. So before beginning with the conference, I would like to explain Eurasia Research to all of you in a nutshell. Please allow me a moment. So with over more than 1 million satisfied members and associates spread across the globe, Eurasia Research is a scholarly association who have been working for nearly a decade. Eurasia Research has organized several successful international conferences, workshops, and training programs at various reputed institutes and grand venues. Eurasia has been tirelessly working for research world and have not stopped their endeavors even during the COVID era, and have presented research community with online platform which was safe and convenient method to continue their passion. Some of our objectives are that we are an international community of researchers, practitioners, students, and educationists who aim to bring together worldwide researchers and professionals, encourage intellectual development, and to create opportunities for networking and collaboration. These objectives are achieved through academic networking, meetings, conferences, workshops, projects, research publications, academic awards, and scholarships. Some of our highlights are that we provide scholarship to deserving candidates to promote students and research scholars to participate in the international conference. Young Researcher Scholarship is provided in the form of a full registration fee waiver. We have a vast experience of publishing papers for more than 7 years. Our associated journals publish review papers, original papers, conceptual framework, analytical and simulation models, case studies, empirical research, technical notes, and book reviews. We cater to more than 30 plus themes in the area of teaching and education and have registered ISSN and have following renowned indexing: Google Scholar, Crosscheck, Authenticate, Crossref, the Keepers Registry, Script, Portico, Road, Directory of Open Access Scholarly Resources, OAI PMH, Registered Data Provider, PKP Index, and we will soon be applying for Scopus too. We have a wide network of 100 plus internationally acclaimed keynotes across the globe who share their knowledge and guidance with our participants with open hands. We have a large number of committee members and advisors who support us and guide us through their expert opinions and decision making capabilities. We couldn't have thought of reaching here without them. We also encourage our participants to connect with more than 50K plus followers on our social media platform where they can share their research and interests. Join our Facebook group and be a part of discussions by researchers and academicians. We also have several collaborations with universities, colleges, and institutes to better serve all interested and like minded intellectuals. With great enthusiasm and pride, we would like to request our participants to enjoy the benefits of our lifetime membership program in just USD 55. We have over 50,000 plus members from across the globe. Thank you for your patience and valuable time. Before moving ahead with the conference, my name is Divya Devnani and I will be your today's conference host. So starting with the conference now, first I would like to introduce our SSHRA president to all of you, Associate Professor Marek Matojan, Department of Management, Faculty of Organization and Management, Lodz University of Technology, Poland.
Hello everyone, my name is Marek Matejun, originally associated with the University of Łódź, Poland. I am the president of Social Science and Humanities Research Association. On behalf of my colleagues, advisory board and our members, it is a pleasure and an honor to welcome you to our international community. Social Science and Humanities Research Association, SSHRA, is promoted by Eurasia Research and aims to bring together worldwide researchers and professionals, encourage intellectual development, and create opportunities for networking and scientific collaboration in the field of social science and humanities. These objectives are achieved through academic networking, meetings, workshops, projects, scientific publication, academic awards, and scholarships. We create wonderful opportunities for sharing knowledge, research results, and discussion at our interdisciplinary conferences organized in Asia, Europe, and Africa, International Conference on Social Science and Humanities, as well as at the International Conference on Business, Economics, Language, Law, and Psychology. We closely cooperate with internationally recognized universities and research organizations as our institutional partners. For our members, we offer inspiring scientific events, team-building activities, strong social media platform for networking, young researcher scholarships, as well as opportunities for publications in international journals. The driving force behind our success is the diversity of members and international advisory board who provide inspiration, ideas, efforts, and drive collaborations. Scholars, researchers, professionals, academic teachers, and students are warmly invited to become a member of SSHRA and join our ever-growing network, working for the benefit of research and society with the spirit of knowledge sharing, mutual respect, and growth. Following these values, we kindly invite you to join our community and collaboration with us. As a member of SSHRA, you will be a part of progressive, comprehensive research association and play an absolutely essential role in helping us to enrich our scientific activities, maintain our long-standing commitment to the development of social science and humanities, and enhance our global impact. Thank you, and welcome to SSHRA International Community. Connect, collaborate, and co-create an outstanding future with us.
To
So much, Associate Professor Marek Matujan, for the lovely introduction. Moving ahead with the conference now. So, our first eminent speaker of the day is Dr. Wong Kier Kee, Department of Education, Faculty of Social Studies, University of Selangor, Shah Alam, Malaysia. He has also been our past participant keynote speaker. Let us see what he has to say.
is the driving motivations during my research. Parents who do not accept their child as he or she is will not be able to make appropriate decisions for their child. So there is a mismatch between genuine needs of the special needs child and also the unrealistic expectations imposed by the parents. And this mismatch can certainly lead to very undesirable outcomes that will impede growth in their child. I will advise them to always remain humble, and dare to admit that you simply don't know certain things, okay? And also don't be afraid of making mistakes, because we are here to learn in the first place. And another important advice that I think all of us should can benefit from it is at times we feel that our research has come to an dead end and not knowing where to go, but it's exactly at these critical moments that you still need to discipline yourself to write something, to ask something, to read something, and to ask someone for help, that is anything that is related to your research. Okay, who knows? Into the light bulb moment. They give you inspirations to continue with your academic pursuit. Yeah, I face a lot of challenges. The participants of my research, they are mainly Malaysian Chinese. So to most Chinese, having a special need child is a disgrace to the family, to most of them. So we have a saying, the saying that goes like, wash your dirty linens at home. Okay, yeah. So they stay low to avoid attracting unnecessary attentions. Thus, very few parents are willing to identify themselves as parents of special needs children, and that makes my research challenging because I don't have many willing participants to take part. So yeah, so to get them to agree to be interviewed is actually the toughest challenge I have faced in my research journey. Okay, I really want to take this opportunity to thank the conference, the organizer for this conference. Indeed, it was a very wonderful conference. As I can see, the participants, they come from different countries and also quite a diverse cultural backgrounds. And each presentation was shown impartial appreciation to encourage the presenters. And the whole convention, the whole conference is very smooth. And I can see that the rundown of the conference, okay, is very smooth, and the participants are informed in advance about the certain topics, you know, for fruitful and meaningful discussions.
Thank you. My name is
Thank you so much, Dr. Wong Kierke, for your wonderful feedback. Moving ahead with the conference now. Okay, so we have some more participants that have joined the conference. Chris, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah. Hello,
Thank
welcome
you.
to the conference.
Yeah, thank you.
So, how is the weather in Ghana right now?
Pardon?
How is the weather in your country right now?
Oh, fine. It is fine.
Okay, okay. So, thank you for joining the conference. So, moving ahead with the conference now. Our next eminent speaker of the day is Shekhak Alianati, Business Department, College of Business Studies, the Public Authority for Applied Education and Training, Kuwait. Let us see what she has to say. She has been our past conference participant also.
at the College of Business Studies at PAIT, which is course based in Kuwait. I'm an assistant professor at the Department of Management, and my specialty area is human resource management. Coming from the background of human resource management, again, I can see very clearly that many of the times managers unfortunately make their decisions based on what they think or based on a problem that has been given to them. For example, we will see some teachers will, well, based on this research, some teachers will complain. They will say, no, we don't want to use the online. I can't give my exams, that my exams will be exploited. Students will cheat, so on and so forth. But and then at some point, my management was thinking, you know what, let's stop it completely. But I did this research to prove to them, yes, there are some problems we have. Yes, there is some down effects of using the online. However, we can use it in different ways, and we can use other elements that is provided only through the online learning. And believe it or not, I did give this research input or feedback to the management, and they did take it into consideration. So what they did is they locked some features that were not helping us as students or as teachers, and they gave us more features that we can use to, to make the most of the online as well as of the traditional. Yes, in my opinion, researchers, of course, you do your research, especially when it's your first time to do this research or any other research, of course. You will be considered as a beginner. When you go to conferences, for example, when you do more researches, every time you do a new research, you will build up your own skills, your own way of doing the research. You will know how to overcome some obstacles. You will learn from it. Not only that, but if you, for example, like what I did, I participated in the NBP 2023 Istanbul Conference, International Conference on Management and Business Practices. Yes. This conference gave me the opportunity to share my research with other researchers. So what happens is that other researchers could ask me a few questions that they are interested in. They could give me comments that could develop me. I mean, I've been doing research for several years. It doesn't mean that I'm a pro. I'm still learning from other people. I'm still getting feedbacks from other people. Now, how can I get these feedbacks? The only way, or one of the ways I should say, is going into conferences, reputable conferences like yours, for example. And I'm so grateful that I've had this opportunity to be at your conference and share my experience and get feedback from other researchers. It does develop researchers, every time we participate in these conferences. More also, it gives us opportunity to collaborate with other researchers. I did several researchers from other people that I've met in other conferences as well. And I've had the research committees, and I have research buddies, with me doing these researches. So it is very beneficial, and you meet more people and you get to know their field of work. And in fact, many of the researchers nowadays are multidisciplinary. So I'm talking, for example, with my research, it's HR, but also it has a technology embedded with it. So when I have other researchers from other disciplines, it will enrich my research. So this is my advice. Yes, first of all, thank you so much for accepting my paper. And I did present in this conference once again. The benefit of being in this conference is meeting in more researchers with different fields that that will open a window of collaboration between researchers. This is the most important benefit for attending any conference. Also, having a feedback from other participants in that conference will also enrich and widens your variety, your horizon and your vision of what can you do next. One of the questions I've been asked by one of the members, she said, "But how did you put these two systems of online and traditional way together?" And I said, well, it depends on the management itself. It depends of how they see it. So with this paper, I provided them with an output and recommendation, which I'm very grateful that they did look at and they followed. So it depends on your institute. It doesn't mean that you have to take my experience, but you can, of course, follow this experience and see what are the instructors are looking for. What are their obstacles, pros and cons, let's say. So you can have the best of each systems, combine them together, and then apply them to your institute. And so this impact, these kind of questions benefit, of course, the audience, but at the same time benefits me to probably have more recommendation that please do this kind of research at your institutes. It will develop it even further. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much, Shekhak Al-Linati, for a wonderful feedback for our conferences. So moving ahead with the conference now, I would like to inform all our participants that the conference schedule is given on the screen. The conference is divided into 3 sessions. First session is keynote talk. Session 2 will be team activity and photo session. And session 3 will be technical talk. So I would like to request all the participants to rename their Zoom account with their full name in English. This will help us to record your presence. You may ask your questions related to the presentations in the chat section while the presentations are still going on. All the certificates, receipts, and proceedings will be sent to the participants within a week on their given mail IDs. The proceedings will include all the full papers and abstracts accepted for the conference. Moving ahead with the publication process, the publication process starts once the registration process is complete. The author needs to send their papers, consent forms, and review details on the given email ID. The review reports will be sent to the author once the review process is over. The final stage of publication starts after receiving the revised papers from the authors. Please note that the publication process takes around 50 days after the conference dates if all the editorial guidelines are followed within the given deadline. So, starting with the session 1 of our conference, that is the keynote talk, our first keynote speaker of the day is Associate Professor Dr. Erel Hemi Mohammed, Associate Professor in University of Technology, Mara, Senior Principal Assistant Director, Ministry of Higher Education, Malaysia. He is also a professor, Polytechnic University of Philippines. His topic of presentation is Education, Training and Future of Work, Issues and Challenges in Southeast Asia. Associate Professor Dr. Erel Hemi Mohammed Adnan is currently on special attachment to the Ministry of Higher Education in Malaysia as Senior Principal Assistant Director, a senior academic at University Technology Mara, Shah Alam, Malaysia. He is also a professor at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines and has recently inducted as Research Fellow at the Human Resources Development Corporation of Malaysia. As a multiple award-winning researcher, writer, and multidisciplinary social scientist with 23 years of experience in the field of education, he supports the Education 4.0 movement and has held visitor scholar, research fellow, advisor positions in Brunei, Indonesia, Singapore, and New Zealand. He has also produced 150 plus international proceeding papers, journal articles, book chapters, and books, written 500 plus academic articles for Asian newspapers and magazines, and has appeared 200 plus times on Asian television and radio. Some of his profile web links are given on the screen. We welcome you, Dr. Erel Hemi Mohammed Adnan. Moving ahead with this presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, friends, professors, doctors, ladies and gentlemen, no matter where you are in the world right now, welcome to my keynote speech with the title Education, Training, and the Future of Work, Issues and Challenges in Southeast Asia. This keynote is for EduCon Kuala Lumpur, International Conference on Education, originally planned for the 30th of November until the 1st of December 2023 at the heart of Kuala Lumpur. Ladies and gentlemen, this keynote speech is by myself. My name is Erel Hemi Mohammed Adnan. I work at the Ministry of Higher Education Malaysia and also University Technology Mara, UiTM Shah Alam, and HRD Corp, Malaysian Human Resource Development Corporation, as a thought leader and a research fellow. So quite a number of responsibilities related, very much related to the title, which is Education, Training, and the Future of Work. I'll be focusing not just on Malaysia, even though I'm Malaysian in this presentation. I'll be talking also about a few more countries within the Southeast Asian region. Let's begin. We will explore in this keynote presentation the intricate interplay between education, training, and the evolving landscape of work in Southeast Asia. Even before the global pandemic, COVID-19 began around year 2020, much change, a lot of changes have been happening in Southeast Asia in terms of work. We see many young people, for example, in Malaysia, in my country, having more options after they graduate from high school, from secondary school. This is good on the one hand because it allows them to have options to think about for their future, but at the same time, going straight into work directly, quickly, after secondary school, after high school, might not be ideal if your country wants to become more developed and become highly developed in the future. So this is a challenge, for example, in my own country. So this region, Southeast Asia, is known for its diversity. So it is now facing unique challenges and opportunities in adapting to the demands of the future workforce. As I mentioned just now, young people are having a lot more options. For example, after they finish high school, after they finish secondary school, they can go directly into the world of work by, for example, joining the gig economy. But the problem with gig economy jobs are abound. There are a lot of problems there because, for one, it's not a guaranteed job. You don't have a pension, for example. There's not much job security, and the work that you have to do is not very easy. It's very hard, very labor intensive. You have to go out, for example, to deliver food, deliver things, deliver stuff to people. You have to think about your safety also. So becoming a gig worker is good on the one hand because it allows you to very quickly gain money, gain income after you finish school, but at the same time, it is not something that you do for the long term. But the issue is, the reality is, for example, in Malaysia, my own country, many young people are starting to join the gig economy right after school because they feel this is a much better alternative compared to going to college or university, whereby you have to add more money there, you have to gain a loan, and then you have to spend another 2, 3, 4 years at university, college level, and you're not earning, but you are also actually getting more in debt with your student loan. So this is a challenge that I think is not just one that we are facing in Malaysia, but also in a few more countries in the Southeast Asian region. Countries in Southeast Asia, we have Singapore, the most developed one, of course, Indonesia, the biggest, very soon, one of the biggest economy in the world, top 10, top 20 very soon, Malaysia, of course, Thailand, and Vietnam. Vietnam also joining into one of the Southeast Asian tigers, very quickly. It's a dynamic region marked by, most of the time, positive economic growth. According to a report by the Asian Development Bank in 2019, the overall GDP in Southeast Asia is around 5.2. So this presents a lot of opportunities and challenges for education especially and for employment. Now, whether you accept the fourth industrial revolution concept or not, okay, it's a different matter. But in Southeast Asia especially, the fourth industrial revolution concept, the construct, has been gaining traction, a lot of traction, prior to the pandemic and even now. And we see a lot of initiatives, a lot of policies being developed by countries to actually cater for and to help the workforce, especially the younger people, to join an economy which is driven by the fourth industrial revolution technologies. Southeast Asia is no exception. One of the things we see a lot now happening is a lot of automation, of course. In the service economy used to be very labor intensive in Malaysia. But of course, now you see many terminals, automated terminals, pay terminals coming out when you go to buy fast food, for example. When you go to the cinema, you don't see people there, you just see a terminal, you just book your ticket, you just pay for it, and then you go into the cinema and just watch whatever you need to watch, and then you go home. So this helps in terms of cost cutting, to help the economy to grow even faster. But at the same time, it's a big challenge because it means that a lot of menial labor, normal labor work are becoming reduced. So when you don't have jobs, when you finish high school or secondary school, what will happen? Automation and technology is very good, but it is altering job requirements. Even in a country like Malaysia, you see this. It's already happening. Even in supermarket now, in the supermarkets, we have automated tellers. You buy things, you pay for the things automatically on your own, and then you leave the supermarket. Again, many jobs which used to be available, but they're not high-paying jobs, to be fair, right? To start with, they're not high-paying jobs, but now they're just removed from the labor market, meaning young people who join, for example, the gig economy, need to also have their own skills, something that can help them further down the road after maybe 4 or 5 years joining the delivery workforce, for example. Once they finish that, once they end that kind of job, they stop doing that kind of job, they need to think about what they will do next. And now, like it or not, they need to upskill and reskill. So Singapore is showing commitment to embracing Industry 4.0, not just Singapore, Malaysia too. Okay, incorporating advanced manufacturing and smart technology. So this is good on the one hand because it forces the nation to rethink how the economy works, how the labor market works, but at the same time, it creates challenges in terms of real human work, real human value. When you have a lot of automated manufacturing, smart technologies coming in, you don't need people anymore unless they are experts, people who can work on the back end, for example, who can maintain those manufacturing technologies, people who can come up with new ideas, new apps, who can maintain this kind of high technologies. But for the bulk of the nation, if the students, the young people are not into science and technology, then we will have a really big issue, because we cannot talk about advanced manufacturing and smart technologies when young people are not interested in science and technology to begin with. So we have also diverse education systems in Southeast Asia. So in the case of Vietnam, like I mentioned just now, it's becoming a very strong, very powerful Southeast Asian tiger. It has made commendable progress in terms of expanding access to education. So access to education has been growing in countries like Vietnam and other countries in Southeast Asia. However, there are still challenges in terms of providing quality education across the region. So it's hard to say that positive things are not happening, because they are. But because Southeast Asia is quite a large region, geographically, take a country like Indonesia, for example, it has many thousands of smaller islands where people actually live. So access to education is difficult. If you want to maintain the quality of education, you have to make sure everyone receives 100% of the high quality education that you have, for example, in Jakarta, the capital. So it has to be translated from policy to real life positive changes. So when you don't have positive education, 100% level of quality education across the region, so it hinders the development of the skills that we need, that we require for the future job market. And like I said just now, SNT, science and technology, for example, we want young people to go into science and technology, but we take Malaysia, we need 60% of our school leaving graduates, yeah? Our young people, our secondary school students, our high school students, when they leave, we need them to do 60%. 60% of them need to go into science and technology. Another 40% can go into the arts and humanities, social sciences. But now the number is actually still very low. It's not even 60% in terms of SNT. So how can you talk about the skills required for the future of the job market when your young people are not interested to go into SNT, science and technology, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics in the first place? So the point here now that I would like to raise is educational challenges in Southeast Asia are multifaceted. There are many, many dimensions to it. Inequality in access to quality education is very true. And you still see the urban-rural divide, like I said, maybe not in Singapore, but other than Singapore, right? For all the countries in Southeast Asia, there is this big urban-rural divide where urban schools, for example, are always seen as much better than rural ones, and vice versa. So in Indonesia, in urban areas, of course, they have better educational facilities compared to rural ones. Like I mentioned just now, they have thousands of smaller islands where actually people live there. And there's always this story about this misalignment between traditional curriculum and what the industry demands. Okay, this is a difficult issue to contend with, because sometimes the industry talks about they wanting to have young people, young graduates who are highly skilled. But the problem with industries, businesses, factories, they don't want to pay highly. And we face this problem in Malaysia. You want high quality students, high quality graduates, high quality workers, but you're not willing to pay high quality salary. So when you face these kind of problems, right? What do you think will happen to the next generation coming into the labor market, right? But at the same time, we see various initiatives are underway, to address these challenges. And I am part of the Human Resources Development Fund, HRDF. So what we do is, in HRDF, we try to help upskill the workforce. We gain 1 to 2% from the income of all companies across the board in Malaysia. Get all of them to contribute 1 to 2% of their total income, to use this to reinvest in their people, to redevelop the skills of their people, of their workers, particularly in sectors which are critical. For example, electronics, mining, and plantation industry. Okay. We also see a lot of private sector partnerships now, coming up with educational institutions, with universities fostering practical job-oriented training. Now in Malaysia, we are starting this new program we call apprenticeship degree. Apprenticeship, I know, is nothing new, right? It has always been there, but we are now trying to formalize apprenticeship into higher education. So students go for 1 semester to the university, and then the following 2, 3, 4, 5 semesters, they are outside working. And in the final semester of their study, maybe semester 6, they come back to finish, to complete all the formalities they need, academic formalities they need to graduate. So this is a good idea, because as they work, they learn. And as they learn, they earn. So this is a concept that we are trying to introduce in Malaysia, and we have a few degrees now, right? A few undergraduate degrees, bachelor degrees in this mold, in this concept, apprenticeship. Moving on, looking ahead, collaborative strategies are needed, of course. So Thailand's Eastern Economic Corridor, for example, talking about technology innovation, and we have now the concept of the land bridge, right? The Thailand land bridge, which is coming up, hopefully very soon. And the countries in Southeast Asia need to work together, okay, to make our shared dreams a reality, our shared growth, our shared prosperity a reality. So what can I recommend? What can we recommend? Going into the future, the whole region, again, it's not just increasing investment in STEM education. It's not just increasing. It's actually bringing children and teenagers, children from primary school, right? From preschool even, to go into STEM, to teach them about the magic of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And then, of course, once we have their hearts and minds in STEM, when they go to college or university, hopefully they will continue doing STEM courses, science and technology courses. Vocational training, of course. And like I said just now, we have apprenticeship degrees in Malaysia now, formal version of apprenticeship. Public-private collaborations whereby our students learn and earn at the same time, not being straddled with student loans all the time. I think this is a good idea to bridge the skills gap, and not just Malaysia. I don't think it's just Malaysia looking at this now, but other countries in Southeast Asia also. Hopefully, again, for our shared prosperity, this can be looked at and we can walk on this path together. So, in conclusion, we are now at the crossroads of educational evolution and workforce transformation. If you understand the challenges, and you can listen just now the challenges that I mentioned, and leveraging innovative strategies, I think the region can chart a course towards a more resilient, adaptable, and of course, a future-ready workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. I wish you all the best for the conference. Happy knowledge sharing. I'm here. You can find me if you like to share your knowledge with me. I'm always ready to listen. Terima kasih. That is in Malay. Thank you. And these are some of the references that I actually looked at as I prepared for this keynote. Thank you so much, everyone, and happy conferencing. Enjoy the conference. I'll see you, hopefully.
Thank you so much, Associate Professor Dr. Eril Hemi Mohammed Adnan, for a wonderful presentation.
Okay, so hello everyone and welcome to my session. My name is Kamal Tatiarimbo. I'm from Indonesia.
If any of the participants has any questions related to his presentation, they can put their questions in the chat box. As Professor Dr. Eril is not here present today because he had some prior commitments. Moving ahead with the conference now. Our next keynote speaker of the day is Associate Professor Dr. Radzuan Abrashid, Associate Professor, Faculty of Languages and Communication, University Sultan Zainal Abidin, Malaysia. His topic of presentation is the internationalization of higher education, prospects, challenges, and the way forward. Associate Professor Dr. Raduzwan holds a PhD in education from the University of Nottingham, United Kingdom, and he pursued postdoctoral studies at the University of Leeds, exploring applied linguistics in an educational context. He is interested in researching teacher education, professional development, and contemporary discourse in online settings. He was nominated by Clarivate Analytics Web of Science for the Malaysia Research Star Award in the category of Research and Innovation Excellence, Researchers in Arts and Applied Arts in 2019, 21, and 22. He is the Minister Counselor of Education at the Embassy of Malaysia in Amman, Jordan, and responsible for the internationalization of Malaysia's tertiary education in Jordan, Turkey, Kuwait, Lebanon, Syria, and Palestine. Some of his profile links are given on the screen. We welcome you, Associate Professor Dr. Raduzwan Abrashid. So, as mentioned by Professor Raduzwan, he will be presenting his presentation after some time as he has a MOA to attend. So we will be moving ahead with the conference right now. So we will be beginning with the session 2 of the conference, that is the team activity and photo session. Let's proceed towards our team building activity. Sometimes we miss the opportunity of connection and linkage with the fellow participants of the conference. This team activity is to encourage interaction among all the participants. One by one, we will share the views and solutions on the topic of discussion, and we will also be conducting a photo session as well. So our today's topic of discussion is managing stress.
Watch this. One little piece of paper can have a remarkable effect. Stress is stressful. But if you understand a bit about what it is, you'll be better able to deal with it. First, though, take a few deep breaths. In fact, do that anytime you feel stressed. It helps. Stress is a survival mechanism. When danger appears, it can get you out of trouble quickly. Your body crashes up the gears and throws all its resources into getting you moving. Your heart pumps furiously to increase blood pressure, glucose is sent to the muscles as a fuel injection, and you become totally focused on what psychologists call fight or flight. Thing is, this emergency state is only meant to last just long enough to get you out of danger. But here in the 21st century, we stress about different things, and for much, much longer. Your brain and body stay on red alert, and you'll be less able to think clearly, learn, or remember things. Take a few more deep breaths, because as you now know, stress is a physical reaction, and deep breathing helps to counteract its effects. So, what else can you do? Okay, top tips to reduce stress. First, get plenty of exercise. Let out all that locked up energy. Now, back to the problem. Get in control. Scope out the situation and how you're going to tackle it. Don't stress alone. Talk to someone. Socialize. And have a laugh. You can't laugh and quake with fear at the same time. Get down with nature on a big or small scale. And if your mind won't stop worrying, give it something else to do instead.
So I would like to request all the participants to turn on their webcams. Kemal and Christopher, I would like to request you to turn on your webcams. So we will be starting with the discussion. So Kemal, what are your thoughts on the topic of discussion? How do you manage your stress in your life?
Yeah, so regarding the topic, I think especially in the 21st century, as well was stated in the video, in the emergence of social media as well, stress has become a particular interesting talking point, and obviously all of us have faced that, stress, sudden stress, and it could lead to a more dangerous situation. A lot of people actually don't really understand how to manage stress that well, and to me, stress is interesting because it have a lot of things and factors that you can actually just push out of the way, and suddenly things becomes a lot more clearer. And that's how I usually manage stress. And I think that is all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your views with us. Christopher, would you like to add something? How do you manage stress in your daily life? Christopher, your mic is muted. Yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Yeah, stress is a major problem we are facing nowadays. Yeah, and actually, I'll speak based on experience. Yeah, um, most often when I become much stressed, yeah, taking deep breath, as they said, is nice.
Yeah,
Then staying quiet, pondering that meditation, yeah,
yeah,
and
that
then
helps a lot.
changing activity, like playing with children, kids, yeah, takes your mind off the stress. And when you come back, I think you will be much re-energized to face the work of the day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your views, how you manage stress. So, Kemal, would you like to add what are the things that cause you stress in your daily life? Like, what are the thoughts that you have in your mind, and what are the things that cause you stress? So, and how do you manage it that you have already told, but what are the things that trigger that stress?
Yeah, adding on from what I've said, I'm still a college student waiting on graduation. So in these past years, obviously, like every other college student, there's a moment where suddenly tons of tasks needs to be done
Hmm. Hmm.
in such a short period of time, and not to mention other external factors, probably like family and stuff, and all of that, adds up suddenly and just waiting to explode. So the way I deal with that usually is just to factor things out slowly, one by one, facing things on.
Hmm.
And yeah, and then you realize that actually the things that you were worried about isn't necessarily as scary as you thought it was supposed to be. So
Yeah.
yeah, after you factor things out, things becomes a little bit more easier, and yeah, that's how I handle stress so far.
Thank you so much, Kemal, for sharing. So, Christopher, what are your stress trigger points? What are the things that cause you stress in your life?
Actually, as an academic,
Yeah.
facing much deadlines
Yeah.
much deadlines with family activities. Your kids will need your time, your wife needs your time, your other relations need your time. Lots of deadlines. And you become really stressed out to the extent that if you don't take time, depression will set in. As I said, I used to try to take off my mind from some of the causes of stress by socializing.
Mm.
I go to church, socialize, sing, dance, then I get re-energized and come back and try to face the tasks one after the other,
Yeah.
especially taking the most priority first. If I finish the first task, I become a bit relieved, face the next one. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
definitely. I really agree with you. Like socializing with people and praying to God definitely helps to relieve stress. So to conclude, I would like to say that since each and every person has a different way of dealing with stress, therefore their ways of managing stress will be different too. Like we knew, like Kemal told and Christopher told. So for some people, reconnecting with their old friends or family relatives can be a great stress buster. And for some, doing some sort of physical exercise or using some kind of guided meditation or practicing deep breathing can be of great help. And for some people, like shopping can be a great relief, while for some, like buying gifts for their loved ones, giving them something, so that makes you happy. Seeing them happy makes you also gives you also a happy feeling. So there are plenty of ways in which a person can manage his or her stress, but it's a person's responsibility only to find out what way works the best for you and in which your stress can be managed properly in a better way. So thank you for the group discussion activity. So I would like to request everyone to turn on their webcam so that for the photo session activity. Thank you so much, everyone. So we will move ahead with the conference now. Brings us to the end of session 2 and the beginning of session 3 of the conference, that is the technical talk. So our first presenter of the day is Kemil Arinvibowo, Business Management, Mangdang Institute of Technology, Mangdang, Indonesia. His topic of presentation is the correlation of a country's supply chain performance through logistics performance have on country's economic condition, a comparative analysis between developing and developed countries. I would like to request all the participants to read the abstract from the screen given. So moving ahead with the presentation now.
Also from Rand School of Business or Rand's France, and in today Kuala Lumpur International Conference on Management and Business Practices, 4th of December. I would like to bring out the topic of the correlation of a country's supply chain performance through logistic performance on a country's economic condition. And this will be a comparative analysis between the developing and developed countries. And before I start, I would like to say a few words of acknowledgement to two of my supervisors, Mr. Olajide Festus Awokoya and Mrs. Anissa Noventias, from both France and Bandung, respectively, who taught and helped me to complete dissertation. And for obviously to my family and friends that closely supported me throughout this dissertation, and to Eurasia for this amazing opportunity to present my work in an international scope. So let's start with the background. So in history, it was always proven that the development of countries' supply chain management system through their respective logistics sector have a positive impact on their economic condition, and operational costs that a country's incur to trading activities could be reduced by a significant margin if there is a profounding system accompanied by a solid infrastructure such as services, equipment, vehicles, technologies, system information, and this would attract investment to develop those needs for international trade. And the access to a better system and infrastructure would also impact that country's performance in doing international trade comparatively, and such would not only impact cost-related metrics, but also impact other side effects indirectly. And those direct causality could be summarized in an increase in trading volumes or activities will augment the need for better infrastructures and system, which then would trigger further investment opportunities to augment those infrastructures and system. And this direct relationship between trading activities and logistics sector could imply a need of strategic change in policy implementation, as it could trigger the multiplier effect and increase a country's economic condition. So in short, an increase in the digital sector increase the international trade as well, and which then lead to an increased economic condition. So all those two factors correlate to each other, and if one improves, the other will also improve. It's proven like that in past researchers. And what is the problem statement? Because all of that seems well. So I need to know how much different it is between the developed countries and developing countries. Because to reach those advancement and investment, you need money, and only developed countries have that source of resources to perform that. And this research will enter a different point of view on this matter and do a comparative analysis between those two countries' classification to see the difference in the correlation of their improvement of the logistics sector and their economic growth. And such three research questions have been included. The first one is, does supply chain performance through logistics sector have any correlating impact towards economic growth for both classification, developing and developed, and how significant are those impacts for developed and developing countries, and how different is the significance of impact between those two? And the research objective is, for the first question, is to understand, is there even a correlation, just as past studies mentioned, between logistic performance indicator and economic growth in both classification. Second, this research objective is to compare analytically whether logistic performances impact economic growth the same way for both classification, and if there's a difference, I want to see
be different. So that's the last objective, to comparatively compare those two statistically. And such, this is the foundation, the theoretical foundation that I've used. First one is supply chain performance management measurement. And by performance measurement, it was defined an effort to quantify the efficiency and effectiveness of a performance in the form of measure indicators or metrics to the extent of which it show whether the desired goals such as cost, time delivered, in which this is the common metrics or goal to be measured in the supply chains sector, even the quality of product manufactured. So it was suggested to use logistic metrics to assess supply chains performances, because by assessing the logistic metrics, you can measure facility use, the inventory, how they transport their products, and that will measure performance in the supply chains. And logistic metrics also correlates positively to international trade, as what I stated earlier. In fact, the activities of international trade have become an important part of gross domestic products. Again, an increase of logistic and results in an increase in international trade, which then also leads to an increase of a country's economical condition. This also works vice versa. So whatever it is that increase first, the other two will also increase. And now this is the logistic and economic growth in developed and developing countries. So several studies that I've noted. The first one is Mauritius. This research was set from 1950 to 2000. And it was found that infrastructure of transportation have an important correlation with economic growth. So again, infrastructure of transportation, logistics sector. And then Korea Republic, developed countries from 2000 and 2013, and China then was a developing country still from 2003 to 2010, found that in both short and long run, economic growth and logistic output have causal effect, and mainly land infrastructure on, in this case, a logistical input for transportation. And this put a great emphasis on private firms or even country themselves to put their focus on the increase of infrastructure to then increase their logistics sector performances. And this is the indicator variables that I will be using for the data sample. So the first one is LPI, or Logistic Performance Indicator. So it's an online assessment tool. It's common for benchmarking purposes and it's already been used multiple times in past researches to research logistic performance of a country. So this is the best indicator or variables that can be used to assess a country's performance logistically. And the Penwell table, I use this to get a sense of each country economic condition. And what makes it the Penwell table different is because they adjusted so that the comparative view on equal terms to be done. Because in other sources, they still use each country respective income level. So an even comparison cannot be created by using other resources. But Penwell table adjusted that first, so now an even comparison could be done. So this is the design workflow that I've used. I've explained how did I identify the problems, how did I find the objective, what theoretical foundation I use, and now from classifying countries to the conclusion, I will explain later on. So this is the country classification transform that I've used. I've decided to go with the Atlas method from the World Bank that divides into 4 categories, and then from the high income, which means the countries has reached maturity economically, so which they are developed. And for the upper, lower, and lower, they are still considered as developing. And the data sample that I've used from the LPI is data from 2007 to 2018. So I cut off every data over 2018 because the Penwell table only consists of data until 2019, and the LPI only conclude data biannually, so from 2018 to 2020. But the Penwell table at that time was only consists data from 2019. So prior to 2007 and after 2018, I cut off the data. And this is the model from hypothesis. Now there's no correlation between economic growth and supply chain performance, and the alternative hypothesis there is a direct correlation. And this is the model that I've used, economical growth equals function, logistic performance input, Z and landlord. So this is the variable definition. So the variables from overall input and output, this is the definition. So in overall, it average all 6 of the subcategories from tracking, quality of logistic, ease of shipment, custom clearance, and timeliness. From the input, I only put infrastructure to measure a country's logistic input, and from the logistic output of a country, I put timeliness. In a way, it's a measured amount of times the right products reach the designated recipients. And this is the other variables, EGR or economic growth, GDPT -1 or like GDP per capita of the previous year as the capability to invest of a country, LGR, labor growth, and human capital, the quality of those labor force. And this is the dominant variables, border lengths and landlocked to make it more even in the research. And this is how I get those variables, especially the EGR. So like GDP per capita, I got from GDP per capita divided by population, and then from those two real GDP, I subtract the last one, so I could see the difference in real GDP per capita. And then I got the economical growth. And this is how I got the capability to invest, and the lag GDP, and also the labor growth. And this is the 4 methods that I've used. First of all, child test, Hausman test, and Bruce and Pagan, Lagrangian test, multiplier test. All those 3 of those are used to determine whether a fixed model effect could be used or not. And each of them have their own separate function. And the fixed effect is to omit variables that vary and eradicate error in the data panel to reach a more conclusive conclusion. And this is the result of the classification. So developed countries from Australia to Uruguay, they all reach a certain threshold to be called the developed countries. And this is developing countries. All countries that are still a higher income countries to even a lower income countries, all of them are still considered developing according to the World Bank. So there's a huge discrepancy between inside the developing countries classification. And this is the summary of the economic variables. So inside the parentheses, we can see a standard deviation, mean number of observation, the minimum value, and also the maximum value. As you can see that in the developing countries, the discrepancy is quite wide, and so is the developed countries, because developed countries have a minimum threshold, but they don't have a maximum threshold, so they can keep on improving and improving and improving, and that's what makes the discrepancy so large. And now is the logistic variables summary. Again, the parentheses are all the same. It's just the summary for all the 3 logistic variables. And this is the result. So first of all, the child test, the F critical value are 0 or below the significant level of 0.05. Then fixed effect will be adopted. Hausman test, the chi-square value is 0.0003 and 0. So again, below significant level of 0.05, fixed effect will be adopted. And the Lagrangian test, chi-bar 2 values are 0.03 each. So means the fixed effect will also then be used. And this is the fixed effect result for the developed countries. Surprisingly, only labor growth and capability to invest have a statistically significant effect to economical growth because their value is 0.0001, which is below 0.05 significant limit. And all the logistic variables and the human capital variables are all above the significant level of 0.05. So which means they're still affecting something, but they're not significantly correlated. And overall, all of these variables only contribute to 12.5% to economical growth. So there's still like 87.5% other variables not mentioned in this research that could actually be more relevant to use in this research. And this is for the developing countries. It's all the same, only the labor growth and investment correlates directly and statistically significant. And all of them combined are just value, only contribute in the value of 26%, which means there are other 72 of variables not mentioned there are maybe cumulatively more relevant to use. Such from the discussion and conclusion, is that from the F statistic to be seen that in both cases of developed and developing countries, all the variables combined do have an impact on economic growth. Yet for developed countries, all of them only contributed 12, as I've said, and for developing only contributed 26. So in a way, all of those variables contribute more if that country is still developing. So surprisingly, amidst the problem statement that I stated earlier, in which only developed country could tap that potential of an investment and advancement of logistics sector to increase their international trade, to increase their economical condition, because they have the resources to, but probably because so that they cannot keep replying the same increasing of effects because of how high the level of maturity in terms of their economical state is for developed countries. So for developing countries, the opposite happens. So the one time you improve the logistical sector, it also improves more in terms of their economical growth. So this shows that where logistic performance are proven to not have that significant impact in developing countries, they still contributed more to their own growth in economic condition. And this is the limitation of this research. Upon completing, I understand that there may be the data sample was too small and it would need to be increased. And the variables are proven to be small as well and only contributes little to the dependent variables. So other variables could be deemed more relevant in the future. And lastly, the methodology used will limit it as well, as knowledge varies and the sufficient number of variables happens to limit the methodology available for the data panel. So for recommendation, even though a conclusive conclusion was reached in answering those two research questions above, in by yes, they all have impact, but not statistically significant. And for developed countries is 12%, for developing countries is 26%. In such developing countries, their improvement of logistics sector correlates better to their economic condition. But for future researchers, there's still a room of improvement in such. There are more methodology to be explored that could allow a more comprehensive comparative analysis in those two classifications, and even the use of a new variables to instigate better in terms of how logistic performance affects economic condition. And lastly, maybe the classification was too rigid. So other than by using economic maturity, we can classify them by region perhaps. And I think that's all. If there are future inquiries regarding the data or references, kindly contact my email. And thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Kemal, for your wonderful presentation. If anyone has any question related to his presentation, they can ask him or they can put the question in the chat box. So, Kemal, thank you for the wonderful presentation again. And I would like to ask, if you are there, I would like to ask, what are the challenges that you faced while doing your research? Like, this is your research while you are doing in the university as a student, as an academic researcher, right?
Yes.
So, what are the challenges that you faced while doing this research?
Yeah, the challenges probably came within the when I was trying to analyze the data. So because it was tough doing sort of statistically, sorry, do some statistic equation. It's really tough, especially when you're a business student like me. So
Yeah.
at first I couldn't really get what I was doing, but you know, again, I started doing things slowly, factor things out, and then slowly but surely it's all kind of starting to make sense. And I think that's the most challenging part of in the completing my dissertation.
Yes. Okay. So do you have any friends in the area where they learn about statistic models and mathematics so that they could help you while you were doing the research, or your mentors or your colleagues, your teachers helped you in doing taking out the research and taking out the equations, like what happened at that time when you were stuck at those equations?
Yeah, obviously, uh, obviously seeking some help is a preferable action considering how impactful a dissertation might be to me as a
Hmm.
college student. But at first I really want to try it for myself, just to see where I'm at. And yeah, I stumble a lot, but again, asking for help, and then yeah, slowly things start to make sense more. And yeah, then
Okay.
it's completed. Yes.
Okay. So, do you think, like, young researchers like you, I mean, a lot of your friends, a lot of your uh, classmates would be doing research also? And do you think there is one point where the person gets stuck in doing some research and like they get demotivated? So, how do a person should motivate himself or herself so that they can continue that research?
I think in terms of motivation, like it came from within. So like for me, I chose this topic specifically because I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun, it's intriguing, it's interesting. So whenever I got stuck, whenever I stopped because things started to not make sense, I
Yeah.
just remember like yeah, this is why I chose the topic. It's fun, it's interesting, and then suddenly I just get motivated again and start asking for help. And again, things start to make sense and it works out in the end.
Yeah. So we have a question from Christopher, who is asking that what are the challenges to improve sectors contribution to the economy of the developing world?
You mean developing countries?
Yeah, developing countries.
Yeah, so as well as what was the result stated, in terms of the improvement in logistics sector, it's actually more impactful, although a
Hmm.
little, to developing countries and such. I think that's the challenges that
That,
developing country must pursue, especially as what I've stated earlier in terms of their infrastructure. So I
hmm,
guess to answer the question, the challenge to improve the logistics sector's contribution. I
hmm.
think the more you improve their infrastructure, the system, their information system, and all that, the economic condition of the developing countries will also rise. And it was proven again that the improvement of logistics sector is more impactful in the developing country. So I think that's the challenge that they must faced on.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kemal, for answering the questions. So
Thank you also.
moving ahead with the contents now.
Okay.
So our next presenter of the day is Christopher L. Geography, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, Ghana. His topic of presentation is Impact of the LS factor estimation methods on mean annual soil loss estimate. So I would like to request the participants to read the abstract from the screen. So moving ahead with his presentation now.
So, dear participants, you are welcome to this presentation titled The Impact of the LS Factor Estimation Methods on Mean Annual Soil Loss, presented by Christopher Ucheze on 4th December 2023 at the Scientific and Technical Research Association Conference, Kuala Lumpur 2023. The outline: introduction, methods, results, and conclusion. Soil erosion is a major cause of agro soil heritage degradation according to Besekira and Bohata 2022. It is one of the most severe problems the world is facing nowadays, according to Zhu et al. 2020. Accelerated soil erosion by water is a global problem that can lead to food insecurity, and therefore, reliable modeling of erosion is essential to a successful management of the menace. Methods applied. LS model was integrated into GIS to estimate soil loss in Anambra, where RSLA model is a product of RKLSC and P, where R is the rainfall erosivity that assesses the aggressiveness of rainfall. K is soil erodibility that accounts for the soil's ability to resist dislodgement. LS is the topographic component that comprises the slope length and slope steepness. C is the vegetation cover component, while P is the conservation practice factor. Three methods of estimating the LS factor considered were the Wishmeyer and Smith 1978, Moore and Bosch 1986, and Deshman and Govers 1996. While the Wishmeyer Smith is based on slope in percent, Moore and Bosch was based on slope radian, while Deshman and Govers was based in degrees. Results of the LS factors shows that the Wishmeyer and Smith method varied from 0.65 to 71.78 with a mean of 1.20. The Moore and Bosch method varied from 5.13 to 42.49 with a mean of 1.34, while the Desma and Govers method varied from 0.03 to 16.38 with a mean of 0.71. The area has a high rainfall erosivity with a mean of 1,599.76 megajoule millimeter per hectare per hour per year, while the soil erodibility has a mean of 0.03 tons hectare hour per megajoule per millimeter. The C factor had a mean of 0.33. The P factor was set to unity as there is no data on conservation practice in the states. The mean annual soil loss from the three different LS estimation methods were using the Wishmeyer and Smith method. It was obtained 25.25 tons per hectare per year, which had a percentage bias of minus 9.04%. The Moore and Bosch method had 28.54 tons per hectare per year with a percentage bias of 2.81%, while the Desma Govers method produced 14.87 tons per hectare per year with a percentage bias of 46.43%. Result from the field shows 27.76 tons per hectare per year. When tested for significant difference between the Wishmeyer method and Moore and Bosch methods, it shows that there was no significant difference between the two as there was insufficient evidence to reject the null hypothesis. The spatial distribution of the results shows that the soil loss estimated with Desma and Govers, it shows that the central and southern parts had more soil erosion. The same thing using Moore and Bosch and using Wishmeyer and Smith. However, the severity of the soil erosion was not highlighted adequately by the Dutchman and Govers, unlike the Moore and Bosch and the Wishmeyer and Smith. In conclusion, the Wishmeyer, Moore and Bosch methods of estimating the LS factor are better for modeling soil erosion in Anambra State. Shows that erosion is high in the area, especially in the south and central parts. There is need for massive and adequate sustainable intervention to soil erosion management in the area. Similar results should be extended to other moderate slope regions. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Christopher S., for your wonderful presentation. If anyone has any questions for the presentation, they can ask Christopher right now, or they can put the question in the chat box. So, Christopher, are you there? Christopher, could you hear me? Okay, so we will move ahead with the conference now. So one of our keynote will be joining us in 5 minutes. I would like to request all the participants to kindly wait for 5 minutes so that our keynote can deliver his presentation. Associate Professor Dr. Raduzwan Abrashid. He will be joining us in 5 minutes. So I would like to request everyone to kindly stay back at the conference for right now. They can mute themselves, and we will continue with the conference in 5 minutes. Hello everyone, just a quick announcement. We are just playing a video where you can know how to register for our conferences online. Hello everyone, welcome back. So the conference is still going on. We are just waiting for our keynote to join us back. Uh, after this, we are just it's just a humble request to all the participants who have joined this conference to register as a eminent person also. We will be sending you the invites after the conference is over. And before that, we will also like to show you some of our eminent speakers videos.
When I finished the studies at the law faculty of Tirana, I started working as an internal teacher there. And it's been now 13 years that I'm teaching in international private law as though intellectual property. I gained my master degree after 4 years of finishing the faculty. And on 2015, I got the PhD. So I got the doctorate in juris in the field law. So in the field of international private law, actually, more specifically. So I've been teaching at the faculty, and I also work as a freelance lawyer, giving consulting and everything that might be needed. Overall, this is my short bio. Actually, COVID had his own goods and his own bads. It's of course, it created kind of a very chaotic change in every people's life, because from going out and continuing the work, everything got blocked. And this had some, let's say, it changed the mindset of many people. But at some good aspects, we can say that this was a very vast time in which you can offer your research, or which people found ways to get more connected with their laptops, which means getting more connected with your laptop, you have more connection with the researching. And in my, let's say, in my case, I was very, let's say, I was very eager to, on that big empty time that we had to work online and to do things, I found time to progress my researches and to continue on doing that. And Eurasia gave me the support, and I'm thankful to that, to join such broad and international conferences that despite these difficult times that we are living, the research is not stopping, but it is going even more further, and it is coming with some very nice conclusions. And we are still meeting, not live, but virtually, with other researchers and academic professors, like in the last conference that we had. And this is a great opportunity. Then, if it wasn't for COVID, maybe this would not come to this point. Maybe we could not have this kind of very great possibilities to continue the research, to meet with and exchange the ideas and the perspectives throughout the world. We will meet with people from India, from China, from Taiwan, from Singapore, from Albania, this small country in the Europe. So I think that COVID has had its very bad effects towards the people emotional part, but it had also a great, and I think that many of us were lucky to involve ourselves into the research and to promote it into this kind of international conferences that Eurasia is offering to us as academics. So very pleased to that and very positive toward the positive side effect of COVID and pandemic. Actually, I'm very pro in the nowadays world when everything is like rushing. You have a job, you need to do the mom's duties when you have kids, like I do. I'm having 2 kids, so which means going into a conference like physically, it takes not only time, but also the effort to arrange all other things in which you cannot join. Which means if you do because it's gonna take the same time to prepare yourself for a conference, the research, the editing, the presentation, it will take the same time. But the day of the conference, it is very important, or let's say useful, to have it online. It is shorter in time. It is more productive because everybody talks in line. There is a plan. But usually in the physical conferences, you need a full day. Let's say you can start on 8 and you will maybe the ending ceremony will be at 6 p.m., which means it will take all of your day, and not of all the time it is as productive as it is on the online conferences, because you will chit chat here, you will give another opinion there. So you talk like 15-20 minutes, and then all the other part is just a leisure, let's say it some words, when you drink something, when you enjoy your lunch. While in the online conference, it's more useful, it's more productive. You do it, you interchange ideas, then there is an ending, and that's it. Then you can continue your work, your job, your agendas, whatever it is. So in my opinion, actually, since I'm doing not only the lecturer job, but I'm working as a freelancer for counseling, law counseling and everything, let's say a lawyer, and I have also a family to run. For me, and I think for other moms, but not only moms, people who are busy with work, online conferences are a blessing. Since I have a very vast, let's say, colleagues number, because as I told you, I work in the faculty and we are like almost 100 colleagues there. I work with many clients and with many other colleagues outside of the office. I'm aware that they are all following online conferences mostly, because it's time consuming if you want to go in a physical one, because sometimes they are not in the same country. We have to travel abroad. We have to arrange many things. The conference might be in one day, but you need 3 days for that. 1 day to go, 1 day the conference, 1 day to come back. So I will definitely propose not only the online conferences, but actually even the Eurasia ones, because I felt very comfortable with this conference. I'm glad, and I will always be a member so I can join even more conferences. And I'm very pleased that I was chosen to be the eminent speaker. And I was also chosen to have the best paper presentation. So it was a pleasure for me, all of this experience with you. And I will definitely propose it to my friends and my colleagues. What can I say more? It is the best positive thing I could say, because as I already mentioned it a little bit before, I felt at home. I didn't expect it at first, but then we had that conference and it was so joyous. We gave those comments, we gave our research, we had questions and answering, and that was perfect for research to be presented in such a welcoming place and in such a, because everybody regarding the conference part was very involved into that. I remember I exchanged like 100 emails with Dr. Flora Charles. She was like running everything. I felt comfortable, I felt welcome, and I'm sincerely giving 0 to 10, I'm gonna give 12.
So this was Laura Cami, one of our past conference participant, and she had a lot to say. She was our eminent speaker also, and she was uh, nominated as the best paper also. So she had a great feedback for our conferences, and she was encouraging online conferences to everyone. So I would like to request everyone to wait for 2 to 3 minutes so that our keynote could join us back.
Of education. Very much because I would love to supervise a research like that.
So moving ahead with the conference now, I would like to introduce our membership program to all of our participants. So becoming a member has its own benefits and highlights. Some of our highlights and benefits of our membership program are some of our highlights are that SSHRA invites all the members of the participants of the conference to become a member, and the membership fee is only 55 USD. In just 55 USD, you get a lifetime membership with our association. There are more than 10,000 plus members all across the globe in our community. Membership allows you to network through social media platforms and international conferences. Membership is a starting point where a person can participate in our conference and join as a domain expert, reviewer, and conference committee member. When you become a member, member's name and affiliation is announced in the association on our association's website. Members can mention their memberships on the resumes, their profiles, and for other academic and professional purposes also. Our members get an exclusive publication opportunity in our best in class journals and magazines, and members get access to new research information and latest trends through our content and network through our social media network also. And membership also provides an opportunity for the participants to attain leadership positions in our association also. So these are some key highlights and benefits of our membership program. I would like to request the participants to join our membership if they are interested. If any of the participants has any of the questions related to the membership program, they can ask right now or related to how you can refer these programs or the conferences to your friends. You can ask us or leave your questions in the chat box so that we can answer your questions. Anyone? Kemel or Christopher, anything, any questions related to membership, you can ask. Okay, so we have our keynote with us now. Associate Professor Dr. Radhuzwan Rashid, welcome. Thank you so much to all the participants for patiently waiting for our keynote. Dr. Radhuzwan, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Actually, we are unable to hear your voice.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Thank you for joining us again. And I would like to inform all the participants that our keynote is here with us again, and he is joining us. He will be delivering his keynote presentation now. So let me first introduce our keynote. Associate Professor Dr. Radzuan Abrashid, Associate Professor, Faculty of Languages and Communication, University Sultan Zainal Abidin, Malaysia. His topic of keynote presentation is the internationalization of higher education, prospects, challenges, and the way forward. Associate Professor Dr. Radzuan holds a PhD in education from the University of Nottingham, United Kingdom, and he pursued postdoctoral studies at the University of Leeds, exploring applied linguistics in an educational context. He is interested in researching teacher education, professional development, and contemporary discourse in online settings. He was nominated by Clarivate Analytics Web of Science for the Malaysian Research Star Award in the category of Research and Innovation Excellence, Researcher in Arts and Applied Arts in 2019, 2021, and 2022. He is the Minister of Council of Education at the Embassy of Malaysia in Amman, Jordan, and responsible for the internationalization of Malaysia's tertiary education in Jordan, Turkey, Kuwait, Lebanon, Syria, and Palestine. Some of his profile links are given on the screen. You may follow him on the given portal. Welcome, Dr. Rajuan, again.
Right.
I would like to request you to start with your presentation.
Yes. Thank you, Divya. Thank you, Eurasia Research, for having me here. And my apologies for the inconvenience caused this morning. But what happened this morning relates so much with my current position at the Embassy of Malaysia in Amman, where I am responsible for the internationalization of Malaysia's higher education. Involving 6 countries: Jordan, Turkey, Kuwait, Lebanon, Syria, and Palestine, as you can see on the screen. So most of the time, though I have already agreed that I'll be giving a keynote speech for Eurasia Research, but then when 2 institutions from 2 different universities that today is the only time that they can find time together to sit down for discussion, for agreement, and all those kind of things. So I need to give way to them because it involves 2 different countries. All right. So my topic today is the internationalization of higher education, prospect, challenges, and the way forward. All right. So I take this keynote speech as kind of like informal chat session. I'll just be sharing my experience. I do not have the video. I do not have the slides and everything. But you can take this as a live discussion between you and me because I am now in the position responsible for the internationalization of higher education. So I feel like I have the credibility to talk about this topic and also to share my experience, what I have gone through for your information. I've been here for almost 3 years. And most probably I'll be here for 3 more years. So basically, it's gonna be like 6 years, giving responsibility trusted by the Malaysian government to help the internationalization of tertiary education in the Middle East region. Right. In terms of prospect, I want to tell you that even though my office is responsible for 6 countries, my office is located in Jordan. So most of the time, the internationalization initiatives occur in the context of Jordan because I'm on the ground. So it's much easier for me to go to the Ministry of Higher Education here. It's much easier for me to go to the universities in this country compared to the other 5 countries because most of the time the discussion and everything happens online. So it is not as effective as face-to-face when I try to build the networking with all these kind of universities. So my experience sharing today will be in the context of Malaysia and Jordan. So in terms of prospect, I noticed that both countries have a very good prospect to go together in terms of internationalization. There are things that Jordan needs from Malaysia, and there are things that Malaysia needs from Jordan. So let's begin with what Jordan is missing first. Jordan, they have limited universities, especially ones with the top world university ranking. They do have like University of Yarmouk, University of Mota, University of Jordan, Jordan University of Science and Technology, but these are the only 5 universities which are listed in the World University Ranking. They are not even top 100, they are not top 200, and there is only one University of Jordan which is top 500 in the QS World University Ranking. Only one. And because of this, Malaysia has a huge opportunity to contribute to Jordan, because Malaysia, we have quite a number of world top universities. We even have University of Malaya, which is top 60 in the world. And the good thing about Malaysia is that we have this world top university, and at the same time, we are a Muslim country, which means we share a similar context with Jordan, because Jordan is also a Muslim country. And at the same time, the cost of living in Malaysia is very cheap compared to the UK, to the US, and all those kind of things. So most of the time, my main mantra in persuading people to come to study in Malaysia is that we have world top university. We are cheaper than UK, than US, and we are a Muslim country. So far, we have more than 600 Jordanian students in Malaysia, and then most of them further postgraduate studies. And there is a reason why Malaysia attract most Jordanian postgraduate students to study in Malaysia, and this is because universities in Jordan, they do not really cater for postgraduate studies. It's very difficult for you to find PhD program in Jordan at the at universities in Jordan. They most of the time they only have up to master's degree, and this is only a handful of master's program. So most of the time, there are people who finish the bachelor degree, they will need to go outside to further their postgraduate studies. So this is the prospect that Malaysia have. The first one, due to the limitation of the world top class universities in Jordan, and also due to the limitation of the postgraduate programs in Jordan. So this goes to Malaysia. So in terms of the Jordan strength, is that like if people who major in English, they will go to UK, they will go to the US, they will go to Australia, they will go to all the Banai countries because they want to learn from native speaker. But for Malaysia, Arabic is a main is a very important program, because we are a Muslim country. If we want to, we care about our Islamic studies, we care about our Arabic studies. So Jordan has a huge opportunity in this, because if you notice here in the Middle East country, Jordan is the only stable country that people can still go, and also compared to Egypt. Egypt is in Africa, it's not in the Middle East. Compared to Egypt as well, based on my experience here, I can say that Jordan has more structured education system. For example, if you go to Al-Azhar in Egypt, it is not compulsory for you to attend courses, for you to attend classes. You just need to come to register, and then you, in the end, towards the end of the semester, you come for your final exam, and that will determine whether you pass or not. But in Jordan, if you don't come to the class, you will be barred from having exams. It's a very structured system, just like Malaysia. So most of the time, Jordan attract a huge number of Malaysian students who want to major in Sharia, in Islamic studies, in Arabic studies. And as for now, we have almost 2,000 Malaysian students in Jordan specializing in Sharia, Arabic, and Islamic studies, and all those kind of things. So this is the prospects. But at the same time, I see a few. I see kind of like a bigger opportunity for Jordan, because in Malaysia these days we have schools that what we call ulul albab. This is the schools where they learn mainstream subjects like physics, mathematics, biology, and they are basically prepared to become an engineer, to become a doctor, to become a dentist, to become a pharmacist. But at the same time, they also memorize Quran. They have a very strong foundation because it is ulul albab model. So these people I'm very sure their tendency, instead of furthering their studies in engineering, in medicine, in dentistry in the UK and the US, they will be choosing Jordan because Jordan will produce, for example, a religious doctors, religious dentists, doctors who can speak Arabic fluently, because this country offers an opportunity for these students who come from Ulul Albab schools, who come from religious school, to further develop their Islamic knowledge, their Arabic studies, to understand the Arab cultures while developing their professionalism in medicine, in pharmacies, and all those kind of things. So the prospect is huge between those countries. And also Malaysia, Jordan is looking for AI, is looking for business, is looking for this kind of thing in the banking system, all those kind of things. So those are our strength because we offer this program in the world top universities but located in Malaysia. Okay, in terms of challenges, we move on to challenges now. Okay, in terms of challenges, I noticed that the challenges is that Jordan, the currency is very high. The currency is very high. One Jordanian dinar is almost 7 Malaysian ringgit, which is 7 times. But at the same time, Jordan is not a rich country. So people here, most of the time, they have difficulties to go and study abroad because they cannot afford. So basically, at the same time, this is our strength because the middle class person, instead of going to the UK, to the US, New Zealand, they will go to Malaysia because they cannot afford it. But even so, we still cannot attract as many as possible because not many can afford to study abroad due to the financial problem. And it's the same for Malaysian students. If they want to come to study in Jordan, the main challenge is that the cost of living, because it's like one Malaysian unit, one Jordan is like seven times higher. So this is one of the challenges as well, in terms of financial, and then in terms of in terms of like we are now having, we actually. My office is actually is trying to facilitate this because I'm in the right position to advise the two countries what to include in their G2G agreements and all those kind of things. So we are working towards providing quota for scholarships. For example, like Jordanian students, you will sponsor Jordanian government, you will sponsor Malaysian students 30, then we will sponsor your students 30, so that we can increase the internationalization. So basically, the way forward, I think both countries need to acknowledge the strength and limitations, and also cater for this one. For example, now people who want to come to study in Jordan, especially when they come from Malaysia, many Jordanian universities offer local fees to Malaysian students, though they are international students. But it is only limited to Sharia, Islamic studies, Arabic studies, and all those kind of things. So the way forward is for them to give these local fees not only to the Islamic related courses if they want Malaysian students, because what we offer in Malaysia, even though when we study at University of Malaya, which is ranked 60 in the world, perhaps we pay not even half of the amount we pay when we come to study in Jordan. And why we need to come to study in Jordan, where we have a better university in Malaysia, for example, to do engineering, to do business, and all those kind of things. So the way forward is for them to give kind of like special treatment to Malaysian students, and also Malaysian students can do the same because we know that Jordan is not a rich country, they cannot afford and all this kind of thing. So the way forward, really, the financial factor really plays a huge role in the way forward for the internationalization. So many people told us that we can do internationalization by not being physically present in each university. I I do not condemn that. I agree with that, but based on my experience, I can tell that the participants of the people who are involved in the internationalization program, they appreciate it more when it happens physically, when they travel to another country. In online internationalization, yes, but only for an early exposure. But if you ask them, they want to be physically present in Malaysia. They want to be physically present in Jordan. So with that, I thank you. I will open up for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Radzuan Abrashid, for your wonderful presentation and letting us know about what work you are doing in the internationalization of higher education between Malaysia and Jordan and other countries that you talked about, like Palestine, Syria. And thank you so much for being a keynote speaker for today's conference. So, if any participant has any questions related to Dr. Radzuan presentation, they can ask him. Any questions? Okay. So moving ahead with the conference now, thank you so much everyone for being such a patient listeners and for wonderful presentations for this conference. I would like to thank everyone with great pleasure and enthusiasm. I would like to conclude that the conference was a great success. Many people have contributed in this conference in different ways to turn this event into a smoothly running conference with interesting presentations. This conference has resulted in good discussion and networking, and I owe my gratitude to all the presenters and the patient listeners and the coordinators and whole staff of Eurasia Research for their constant support. I would also like to thank all the universities and institutes who have sponsored our participants and people who have directly or indirectly contributed in the smooth conduct of this conference. So before wrapping up with the conference, I would like to ask each and everyone's feedback. So, Dr. Radzuan, could you please share your feedback for the conference so that we can know where we have to improve or where we are good. So, would you like to share your feedback with us?
No. Yeah. So I think the online conference is good because like for the networking purpose we like as an academician this is good at least but now I cannot see the people. I'm hoping for like a more interactive session so that we can get to know each other a little bit and then I think because I noticed that we don't have many people here, less than 9, so maybe we can have like one small session where each every one of us can get together, especially if you are sharing similar background and those kind of thing. And maybe the publicity can be improved because because I think not so many people knows about this event, and because you are conducting it online, I'm very sure if you made it proper announcement, for example, you can just actually shoot to all the universities because especially in Malaysia, there are many universities which make it compulsory for a master's degree student to present only one paper in a conference to enable them to submit their thesis. So actually what you should do, I think, and my recommendation, just write a very professional template, invitation and those kind of thing. You just send to the international office of each university and ask them to distribute. So you need postgraduate office. Each university they have postgraduate office, so shoot to them. You can just Google their email online or something. They will be distributing to their students, and I'm very sure you will be getting lots of postgraduate students, if not even a speaker, as attendees, which is going to be good for your conference because I think the more will be the merrier. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your feedback. Kevin, would you like to share your feedback?
Nothing in particular, probably just some technical stuff. I mean, I agree. When making that presentation, I was quite confused because I thought there would be some sort of template that I could follow. But I guess all is well, right? So it's good. Everything's great.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for your feedback. Christopher, would you like to share your feedback?
Actually, I don't have much to say, but I appreciate the gathering, the organization. It's a nice experience. I hope to meet you sometime next time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christopher. So I would like to announce some of our upcoming conferences. Eurasia Research conducts conferences around the world, and in December 2023, we are also organizing conferences in Bangkok as well as in Bali. In January 2024, we are organizing conferences in Paris and Tokyo. And in February 2024, we are organizing conferences in Dubai as well as in London. I would like to request everyone to please refer these conferences to your friends and colleagues and classmates who can submit their thesis or make presentations and can join the conference and can take part in the networking opportunities also. So thank you everyone for being so patient with us and have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank
You
you.
too. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day ahead.
Yeah, you too.